SMM 2011 was a very, I gotta say, relaxed SMM. The SMMs before have always been very intense. I think that's because the opening times of the venue were a lot shorter. So I felt like I actually got sleep this time around, which is just weird for a LAN event. As far as the event goes itself, I always enjoy SMM because the crowd. There's just something about Malaysian Dota where everyone just is like on a massive high and they come up to the same point as I'm on high. It's like, yes, everyone's high.
Mineski versus IG.
I hope Mineski will win, but realistically, I think IG will win. Go Mineski!
At this point, I can welcome all of you here to our first semi-final of the Winners' Bracket, IG versus Mineski.
In 2003, when I thought of how to promote Dota at the time, not many people think about Dota at the time. It's just a map, right? So it's a mod. So most of the tournaments held in Malaysia is only peanuts. You know, the what they call the prize money is just peanuts. 2,000, 3,000 ringgit is nothing for the championship. So I came up with the idea of this SMM Grand National final. All right, it started off as only for domestic, local competitors. But before that, I started this campaign. This tournament is on a big, from 3,000 to 30,000. That was the first tournament I held. That was a 10-time fold. Everyone was crazy. I can't believe it. Is there such thing? 30,000?
Ricky Lim. He is just one of those most energetic guys you could ever meet. And he's a kid. He is a massive kid that just loves his Dota.
IG from China!
And to have him as a dato as well, is like, for people who don't know what that is, it's basically, well, it's being a sir in England. You are knighted, basically. And it's the same honor in Malaysia. And to have that kind of honor on somebody who is just so much into games, it's insane. And he is insane, and he is one of the coolest guys ever. The SMM head office can be summarized in one thing: so many awesome toilets. It is just so, like, the entire place is themed so beautifully, and it kind of reflects on Ricky, because Ricky designed every single little thing. Like, he didn't just hire someone to come in and say, make me something Dota-ish. And that's for me what makes that office just so awesome. Like, you could go into a big ass office and it'll look nice and shiny, and there'll be like something really cool in a corner which is molded perfectly and cost him like maybe $5,000. Where you go into Ricky's office and you go, this is individual, this is individual, this is just a whole room of a whole bunch of individual thoughts brought into one. It is one of the best community places to go to.
We actually start our qualifiers since April. Every year we start on April for the state selection for our national team. So every state we will have 4 representatives from each state to qualify for the grand final on year end. Yeah, so basically we have prepared 10 qualifiers every year from 10 different states, so that to let every one of them to stand a chance to get to the big stage and to challenge the well-known international big teams.
I think it came at a really bad time, like we had in SMM 2010, where we were really disappointed. We didn't have a single international team turn up, but that was also because it was announced like 1 month beforehand. So all the teams had to organise all the flights, visas, accommodation, all that kind of jazz with 1 month beforehand. And a lot of the Dota 1 teams just couldn't find a sponsor to do that. And EG, I think, were the only team that could have gone the whole way out of all the international teams, because they've been focusing so much on the Chinese Dota 1 scene. That's been where they've been playing. So for them, that was a great place to go, a great place for them to compete, and they could have really gone far. But all the rest of the European teams would have really struggled. It was like MYM when they went down in 2009 for SMM. They didn't know what they were in for, and when they got there, they went out in the group stages.
What would you say you'd want to improve out of all the stuff here at SMM?
There's been a lot of disconnections between the comms and blue screens. And apparently once the comm blue screen that restarts, you can't load the game anymore because the save game will be gone. So that's quite a lot of nonsense.
I'll just like to explain why all these PC have some issues. Yeah, because due to the Thailand, they're having flood. So actually our PC sponsors is actually finalized on April received so early from our like 6 months earlier. So basically, will be no issue on that. But just 10 days before the SMM start, our PC sponsor suddenly pulled out because of the flood, and all the hard disks and the hardware you cannot find in the market right now. Because even I talked to Seagate, I talked to Western D, they can't help me at all because there's no hard disk in the market. So just 10 days we can't do much. So we just look for our client or some LAN cafe to supply all the PC for all this tournament.
So technically wise, it was a bit of a downer, but the games that we got in return were awesome. And when we got through without a hitch, we had ourselves some awesome times with Dota.
My passion is with Dota all along, right? But the thing is, for me, initially we were using Dota 2, but we thought that the players love Dota 2.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Dota 2 would be awesome at SMM, but only if the game is open for everybody to play. It's the big thing for SMM. SMM is a tournament for the community.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the players that counts. The players' voices speaks out. And you hear them, we hear them, They say, no, a lot of protests around the whole world. They say, no, Dota 1, Dota. Even some of the gamers, they said, if you use Dota 2, we'll boycott the game.
Do it too with that restoration and the bounce stun. Can be used to push, can be used for defense, does more damage to the normal creeps, does a little bit less to the heroes.
Dota 1 and Dota 2 at the same event would be interesting, especially to know what team would pick what competition and how it would be structured, so if teams want to compete in both, that they could compete in both. So as far as that goes, yeah, it would be cool to have both of them there, but it would have to be organized nicely that if a team wanted to, they could compete in both, and it wouldn't just be Dota 2 is the big event, Dota 1 is just, or Dota 1 is the big event and Dota 2 is just like meh. It's got to be big for both of them. SMM 2012, I hope for more international teams, of course, and also just a different way of creating the stage. I think that was a big thing, and we mentioned it to Ricky too, and this, again, great from Ricky. We mentioned it to him on the second day. So on the Saturday, we said to Ricky, there is not enough space for people to view the games. I think that was a big problem, a place for people to come and watch Dota. There were very little seats, people were forced to stand up most of the time, and I think that's going to be one big thing which hopefully will change up next SMM.
So I told my boys, okay, we hear them out, this is it. My passion is Dota, the players will win. They are the voices, we hear them, we get back to where they are.